Hey folks, it's Autumn from the blog of traditionallife.com, and I'm going to be showing you how to freeze veggies from your garden, and specifically how to freeze fresh peas in the pod. So in this video, I'm going to be working with sugar snap or snow pea types, not shelling peas. So peas in the pod, you cannot safely preserve those in a canner. So the best way to put them up so you can feed them to your family over the fall and the winter months is to freeze them. I'm going to be working with a sugar snap pea variety in this video, but everything I'm showing you also applies to snow peas as well. So let's dive in and let's learn how to do this. First off, we're going to head out into the garden and harvest some peas. Now these are a sugar snap variety, so they get to be a little fuller than a snow pea. But we have actually been on vacation at the time of this video recording. We came back, these pea vines were loaded. So we spent a fair bit of time harvesting, picking, kind of getting things back to where they should be. And then I froze up a huge batch. So my man and I went out and just picked and picked. Some of these are actually a little overripe, but they are what they are. So we harvested them and brought them inside. And here I am actually stringing some of them. If you have snow peas in particular, you don't need to worry about this. And sugar snap peas shouldn't need to be strung like this, but some of them were oversized. So I did check that out, but here I'm mostly just snapping the stem end where it attached to the vine. You want to remove that. And then the other end is usually okay. So I spent a fair bit of time here just removing those tough ends. And then the next thing you want to do, actually I like to do this while I am while I am cleaning the peas, is you want to get water boiling on the stove. Peas are one of those things you want to blanch ahead of time so that the enzymes don't break them down too much in the freezer. So once that water hits a rolling boil, you just dump your peas in. I like to stir them a little bit, and then we put the lid on and let them sit for about a minute, and that will disable the enzymes enough that they will keep 12 months in the freezer if they are properly packaged and done up. Hey folks, we're going to take a quick break from this video to tell you about my guide to freezing the harvest. If you don't have time to do canning this year, think about freezing that food instead, whether it's vegetables from the garden, fruit, berries, herbs. My guide will walk you through it all, whether it's reading the 20-page digital ebook or just grabbing the charts, the printables. They will walk you through everything you need to know so that you can quickly preserve and put up food to feed your family this winter. This bundle is on sale right now for just $8. I'll put a link in the description below. Be sure to go check it out. And now, let's get back to our video. After your peas have blanched for the proper length of time, it's really important to cool them down or they will continue to cook and be softer than you want them to be. Because remember, we're freezing these and then we have to reheat them before we serve them. So my tap water is actually very, very cold, so I don't worry about filling the sink with water and doing an ice water bath. However, if your tap water is not quite cool, you can go ahead, fill your sink with water, throw some ice cubes in there, get it really chilled and cool so that you can stop the cooking process on your peas as soon as possible. Here I'm going to run the spray nozzle over them, and then once it's cool enough, I can get my hands in there. I will run them under the tap and even shift them around a little bit with my bare hands. That accomplished, it's time to freeze them. Now there's two different ways to do it. You can flash freeze, which is spreading them out on a baking pan or a cutting board and freezing them in one solid layer. This way you can just pack a big freezer bag full and remove by hand however much you need for your meal. That is a really good option. Here I am using a white cutting board. I'm going to pop this in the freezer and I will bag them up after they've frozen solid. But another option is also just to freeze the peas in meal-sized portions. So here I'm loading up some bags and I am going to force the air out of them, seal them up, and then when I am ready to cook, I will remove an entire bag and I will cook that up, whether I'm adding these peas to a stir fry, just cooking them up as a side dish, adding them to a soup. I have for us what is a meal size portion in these bags. And with peas, it's important to press the air out of your bag. You want to make sure that it is as oxygen free in that bag as possible. So these ones, I'm going to try to force as much air out as I can. And then these can just go straight into the freezer, lay them down flat so they will stack really nice in there. I have boxes I put them in. And that's one way that you freeze and bag up your sugar snap peas or snow peas. Now, I'm going to pop that cutting board in the freezer. Here are the frozen peas. So let them freeze solid, and then you can take them out and bag them up. You can do it in giant bags, or if you want to do it still in meal-sized portions, you can. But if I am preparing peas as a side dish, I like to freeze them, flash freeze them like this first, because they just hold their shape a little better. It's my preference, but you can do it however you want. I have a little metal spatula I'm using to scrape them loose because they will stick to your pan or your cutting board in this case. Throw them in a freezer bag, force the air out of those bags, and you are in business. That's how I like to go about freezing peas. Those are two different methods I use. The process is really simple, and this is one of the best ways to put up fresh peas in the pod.